Welcome to the Motocross Supercross podcast.
This is the Motocross Supercross podcast, back at it after a crazy week in Foxborough, Massachusetts. Gillette Stadium, round 15 of 17. I'm Adam here with Claudio. What's up, Claudio?
Woo! Damn,
Woo.
man. What a weekend.
Yeah, it was crazy. Race, outdoors, cold, blue skies, cold,
Daylight, yeah.
dusty. That track got beat to shit.
It was so dusty. It reminded me of the old days.
The old days.
All I could see was my dad yelling to get water on the track.
Agua, agua.
Yeah, that's all I kept hearing.
It was, I couldn't believe, from the first, motos, it was kicking up dust. I was like, oh, all right, this is how it's going to be.
Yeah, it was an interesting race for sure. It was a lot of great battles, a lot of taking outs, a lot of podcasts to cover right now. It's going to be a great show, and it's just going to be awesome.
That's right. So make sure you follow us at MXSX Podcast on Instagram. We've got some videos up, and we will keep those coming of all the craziness. This is going to be our 250 recap. We'll definitely hit you with the 450s next time, but yeah, there's definitely a lot to talk about there too. Everyone's already talking about it. So
yeah, if you haven't watched the races, or don't know anything, just stay tuned because we're about to really break it down for you.
That is correct. But right now we're holding off on the 450s, and we're gonna attack these 250s and get it going there. Let's start with the qualifying practice. Obviously, they did track walk at 6:30 in the morning. I was up actually watching the live stream on. I was watching it on Facebook. I think Supercross did one, and then on Instagram, Luke Rensland was walking around and stuff. It was cold, like we said it was going to be, but it was sunny during the day. But yeah, I was watching that live stream, and everyone was pretty pumped. They had that sand section there. It was, that was some deep sand.
Yeah.
But it's cool. It's like they're doing that on every track now, putting that little sand in there. So I kind of like that.
Yeah, I mentioned that in the last podcast. I said it's good to see that they're trying to mix up different terrains and stuff for the riders. Just interesting to see, what they go to. And that section got really beat up, but it was pretty awesome. The layout was great. I feel the only thing that fell was the watering system. It was just very dusty, very, very loose dirt on top. And it made the racing a little bit sketchy, but hey, it was a great show.
Yeah, with that, just that day race, that sun's out, especially with no clouds at all in the sky. It was just kind of not ideal conditions for that track.
Yeah,
it dried it out way too fast.
Yeah, it was. Definitely dried out super quick, and it made it very sketchy, but that's what those guys get paid, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. It did make for some good shows, and I know that the shadows actually also played as a big contributing factor in everyone's races. But starting with practice, there was a couple crashes that we got on our Instagram. Jeremy Martin.
Well, Jeremy Martin had the fastest lap time, right, for the 250 class?
That's right. And when he was setting that time, he took out Jordan Smith.
I know. I was just going to say, Jeremy Martin, he not only made the fastest lap time of the night, or the day, I should say, he made a statement on it. It was over, 1.5 seconds faster than Zach Osborne, your reigning champ, and your points leader. So he definitely has something to prove that day. He was definitely one of the favorites to win this race.
Yeah, he was way faster than everybody else. And whenever I saw those times, I was like, oh, well, yep, he's going to win. That's pretty much exactly what I thought. But
yeah,
would have been wrong again. But here is that video off our Instagram.
Unfortunately, I got together with Jordan there. I was doing a fast lap and got a little David Hucker chief through the whoops, and then I couldn't stop, and then I bumped him. So sorry for that. But yeah, we're just having fun and ready for the night program.
David Huckachieve. Do you know who that is? I don't know who that is.
But I guess he's someone of the guys pretty ballsy out there.
Yeah. I just thought that was funny. Dude, you could just tell by his just like attitude. He was just feeling it. So
he's been feeling it for sure. Yeah, the last races, he's been definitely feeling it. He's been on point. He's been fast. So he got tired of people saying that he can't ride Supercross. He's showing them that he can. So
that's right. And he set that fastest lap time at 53.7. Yep. Osborne was at 55.0. So Jordan Smith was up there. Ramette was up there. He's been pretty solid since he's been filling in, but he's had almost like a consistency problem, having problems finishing, because it seems like he's always up front at the beginning, and then like towards the end, he kind of fades a little bit.
Yeah, he's also coming down from that, he hurt his ribs, I believe, his teeth. So I was surprised to see him out there, to be honest with you.
Who else was here? Harttraft and Cantrell, Jacob Williamson, Luke Renslin, Rodriguez, Michael Mosman, Josh Osby. That's like your top 11 right there. But what do you say? We go ahead and jump right into this first heat?
Yeah, first heat coming in hot. It was a great race Zach Osborne. He made a statement that in this race, he got up front and he just led the whole time from pretty much start to finish.
Yeah.
Like we were talking about. Yeah, like Ramette, what we were just talking about, coming back and looking good on the bike. He ended up with a second place in this heat. So that's a good thing. So it's good to see him up front for sure. Actually kind of working out for him, stepping down from the 450 to the 250, and kind of making it happen over here. So
yeah, Ramette kind of looked crazy out there, like in a good way though. He was just holding it wide. He was just like he was definitely just going for it everywhere. He was just.
I feel like he's like an outdoor type of guy. So the truck was very suited for him. It was loose, so he was able to be ballsy like that, like you're saying.
At one point, there was like the whole Yamaha team was just like running together. There were so many Yamahas in a row, and I forget exactly what team it is, but whatever one has the that answer gear. But anyways, they were all running together. All the Yamahas, they had like a freaking motorcycle gang there. But that's when Tanner Basso cased the crap out of that big triple right before the sand section.
Huge case and a huge triple.
Yeah, that is, a couple of people cased that jump there. That was something
for sure.
Tricky about that. And even like, I saw people like over jumping it. So there must have been I know the sun played a big factor there, but there was also just like something else going on because there was, it was giving everybody some problems. But
like you said, the sun was definitely playing a factor. It was drying up that face, making the ruts very, very hard to get into. And then I felt like it was a really long, like it wasn't a normal triple. It was a little longer than usual because there was a lot of boner airs coming out of it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. There was something weird about it. But the video of that is on our Instagram, him casing that jump. It's funny I put on there. I said it was the biggest case since O.J. Simpson.
It's OJ. Yeah, that was awesome.
And he commented and said, I guess I better call my lawyer or something. That was pretty funny.
Yeah, I'm glad that he sees this humor in it and that he's fine. So
yeah, exactly. He did. We'll talk about him again in the main, but he came into this race like with a broken hand and stuff. So that's cool. Mad respect for holding it wide open and trying.
For sure.
So
for sure.
I think we pretty much. Oh wait, no.
There's also Osborne ended up winning. Ramette got second. Sean Cantrell got third, which is pretty good for him. So is Mossman getting fourth. Rensley got fifth. Nick Gaines got sixth. Kith Talker got 7. Cartwright got 8th. And then the story of the night.
The thing is, it might have been the story of the night.
Well, yeah. Well, as of right now, it's the story of the night.
As of the first heat, the story of the night was that final turn for that final transfer position into the main.
I made a comment to you before the race. I was like, man, that finish line jump or that finish line turn, it looks deadly. Like somebody's going to be taken out, and boom, first heat. This happens.
Yeah.
So we have Ramiller Alves, the guy from Brazil, if I'm not mistaken, and Cody Ben Buskirk going at it, just hauling ass through the turns. Alves gets in the inside of Ben Buskirk, takes him out.
Takes him out so hardcore. Like, it looks like, I don't know if his, like, handlebar, like, got him or something, but, like, he was down, like, before the even turn started. They were, like, it was a high-speed crash, pretty much, for both of them.
Wide open through those whoops. Wide open. He just went. And I feel like he just realized that he had that, like, half throttle to go, and he can go a lot faster to the whoops. He just needs to figure out how to stop. He's like that kid from Mighty Ducks that, he skates really fast but can't stop.
Dude, he literally was going so fast. And
fast.
Van Buskirk, he was like trying to like fade in a little bit. He looked like he was trying to like, he's like, yo, I got to hug this inside. But he just came hauling in and just railed him.
They both go down.
Yeah, I was going to say, it didn't even end there because still no one's crossed the finish line. It's like, yo, one of you better get up and cross that finish line and get that final spot.
They both get up. Ben Buskirk tries to like close Alves out. Ended up like closing him out, gives a little gas, falls, and then Alves makes the main.
Van Buskirk is like running next to his bike, and then Alves gets up at the same time, and kind of like his front tire like pretty much goes right into Van Buskirk's like way in front of his feet, and he actually like trips, and then he's like falling, and he like loops the bike out, and then it's hard to explain, but the video's on our Instagram at MXSX Podcast. If you haven't seen it, you have to see it because it was insane. Once we saw that at the end of the first race, we're like, yo, this is crazy. This is a good race.
That was a great opening for the day or the night, for the show, I should say. And that's what we go to the races for, to see stuff like that.
Van Buskirk, he ran next to his bike too long. He should have jumped on it,
Doesn't he ride a KTM as well?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. On the KTM, Van Buskirk, he was like,
he
was running next to it.
Electric start and get on it.
Yeah, it's like, well, I don't know why he didn't jump on it sooner. I don't know. It's hard, but they're both trying so hard right there.
So it was a great finish to the heat. So Ramiller Alves takes that ninth spot, that last spot for the main. Everybody else went to the LCQ.
Yeah, and this is definitely going to get overshadowed by what happened with Marvin and Eli, but there could be a lot of talk about that incident, about how dirty it was, and if somebody's going to be penalized or something. He really went in there.
I feel like a lot of quote unquote dirty things happen in this race. There was a lot of taking outs. There was people cutting tracks. There was all types of things. So a lot of things got overlooked, I feel like, in this race.
Yeah, definitely. And we'll try and touch on all of them. But my opinion on that is, people go for it. And he went for it. And that's what happened.
Oh, totally. So. Yeah, he wasn't going to no LCQ. So good for those guys that made it to the main. And let's move on to heat number 2, man.
Heat number 2. Yeah, this one was it was still pretty exciting. Started off with, we got Kyle Peters. We talked about him racing with his torn ACL, MCL.
Yes.
Crashed going like from the track in the pits. And so, you know what? Actually, since we're already talking about all these rules and the AMA and all that, who's gonna blame the AMA for this injury? He's not even on the track. He's just trying to ride from the pits to the track. It seems like the AMA should at least be keeping the riders safe and at least giving them a clear path to walk on. That responsibility, I think, definitely falls on them and on the Feld Entertainment Monster Energy Supercross team. Falls on everybody. You got to make sure these guys can at least get to the line. They're already doing the crazy, dangerous, sport ever, and they can't even get to the freaking starting gate.
Definitely. I'm with you on that one, man. That's a really good point, actually.
Yeah, that's a really good point. And yeah, that really sucks. If I was, I'm pissed for him. I'm pissed
I see
for
that.
him that happened
I feel
because
the anger.
the way they try, they're like, oh, Jason, you're disqualified because you gave it too much throttle off the track. At the same time, like Kyle Peters freaking tearing up his whole knee trying to get to the damn starting gate. So yeah, I think that's
again,
crazy.
it's definitely, I don't know, in a way, corrupt. The system has been corrupt.
Yeah, it
And
is. The bigger it gets, the more corrupt it gets. That's kind of how it works.
But yeah,
But
that's definitely a great point. But like we said, Kyle Peters, toughing it out there with a bum knee, and but still looked good, man. He looked really good. Unfortunately, he
yeah,
wasn't
not
able
in
to
this
make.
race. He didn't look that great in this race.
Well, unfortunately, he didn't make it to the main directly.
Yeah.
But someone that's been really kind of shining the last race is Josh Osby, man. He's definitely he's improved in the last 2-3 races, and he's always up front and getting really really great starts. So good for him. Him and Lorenzo Locurcio had a cool little battle for a minute.
Yeah, they had a really good battle. And actually, real quick on the whole shot when they're like, "Oh, a great start for Martin," and they're like, "Oh yeah, well it's not Jeremy Martin, it's Van Martin."
Yeah, Van Martin.
Van Martin. Haven't talked about him at all this year, so props to him getting that a great start in front of Jeremy Martin. But obviously, it didn't take Jeremy Martin to get by him and run away with it. He won like super big.
Yeah, Jeremy Martin looked really good on his heat as well. So did Zach Osborne. It was already, a great setup for this main coming up. And but the reason that Kyle Peters went down was he was trying to make that pass on Ben Martin.
That's right. He cut down. He was like trying to cut down on the inside of him, and like Van Martin, like it's like he didn't really even know he was there, and he was also trying to cut down.
Yeah,
And it was just like bad timing, and just kind of took him out. It wasn't anything serious.
I'm glad. Yeah, but I'm glad that Kyle, he was able to make it to the LCQ after going down. But yeah, so like we said, Jeremy Martin taking the win. He looked really solid, and Anthony Rodriguez with a second place, probably his best finish in a heat race so far. And after I saw this, I was like, man, am I gonna be right about this podium thing? So,
dude, that sucks for him though, just because they didn't show. They didn't show him really at all on TV. There's like other stuff going around, and he's out there killing second. They don't really show him at all, so that kind of sucks. But
exactly. He was out there. He was 13 seconds behind Jeremy Martin, but he was in second place, and he beat Jordan Smith.
That's right.
Got third. He beat Harntraff, who got fourth. Williamson, who got fifth. Osby, who we just talked about, who got sixth. Locurcio, who got seventh. Ben Martin, who we just talked about, got eighth. And then John Short with a final spot with ninth place, straight to the main event.
Yep. And one other person I want to talk about real quick is Ben LeMay. He qualified, but he had a bad crash in practice, so he wasn't able to race. You can find, actually, that's another crash video you can find on our Instagram. So if you want to see exactly what happened to him, he kind of went over the bars, and it wasn't really, a great...
He got knocked out, didn't he?
What?
Looked like he got knocked out.
I don't think he got knocked out, but he definitely got jacked up for sure. They had to help him off, and it just looked nasty the way he went over the... I mean, he could have been knocked out the way they were held. He looked like woozy as hell.
Definitely. Yeah. That's what I mean. He looked like he hit pretty hard.
He hit real hard, and I think the bike even hit him too.
Yeah, the way he had no control over how he went over the bars and how he fell down. It was a scary moment for everyone, I would say.
Yeah, but good that he at least walked off the track. He had help,
definitely.
But I guess it could have been worse.
For sure. I mean, especially like I said, the way that he went down, he got kicked over the bike and just kind of went over the last jump, nose wheeling, and then he just
it's just
to that
nasty,
berm.
Just a nasty crash.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, let's move on to this LCQ. Kyle Peters didn't make it in the first one, so he came to the LCQ and just dominated everybody. He got the whole shot and just ran away with it.
Yeah, he had exactly. He had a great clear hole shot and clear track, and I guess not bad for a bum knee.
Yeah, not bad. And we also see Van Buskirk, who got taken out at the end of that first heat, and Tanner Basso, who cased that jump. He's back in this race, riding with a broken hand, as we said. The track. This is when the track it started looking really bad. Super dusty, super dry. Every turn they're just shooting up powder. It looked like they were like snowboarders out there going down the mountain, carving it up, just putting it everywhere. And then we see Sizemore, Drake Sizemore. He kind of fell on his own, and he was in that top. I think he was in third or fourth.
Yeah, he was fighting for I guess what you would say fourth place or third place with Van Buskirk, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, so he gets down, and then Basso passes him for that final transfer position, 2 turns later. Then he crashes. So it looked pretty bad. I think the shadows on that rhythm section were just crazy, and I think I heard some interviews, people talking about it. It was just the ruts were going everywhere, and so he kind of went over the bars there. It looked pretty bad.
I can only imagine doing that transition from sun to shadow. And yes, he definitely hit hard on that second time he went down. Those 2 turns later that he went down, he went really hard.
Yeah, so that was pretty much all that happened in that race. Kyle Peters dominated. Wilson Fleming got second. Cody Van Buskirk made it in. Feel good about that because he was so close in that first race. And Tanner Basso got that final spot. Yep. So yeah, good for all them. And they're going to the main. But yeah, it was definitely the Kyle Peters show. All right, so let's talk about this main event. It was just a great start for Zach Osborne.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, Zach Osborne had a great start, followed by Jordan Smith and Sean Cantrell. Jeremy Martin was in the mix until he went down in the second turn, right before the triple, I guess. He got bumped out by Kyle Peters.
He went down in the worst spot you could possibly go down. He was between jumps, and his bike's kind of upside down and on top of him. And
he's super short too, so he wasn't able to really maneuver anything.
He lost so much time. He lost so much time just laying there.
Well, he they made it sound not the right words, but he definitely had the rest of the pack had a half a lap in front of him for sure before he even got up. So
yeah, I mean, it was crazy. I was just and then I thought the people with the helmets were allowed to help him. The one guy's just looking at him, and then another guy came in and helped. I don't really know how that works, but
yeah, I don't know. I want to say maybe the AMA officials are the only ones that are able to help, and then the flaggers are just supposed to flag. I did see that guy that you're talking about at the beginning.
Yeah, they both had helmets on. I heard the people with the helmets are the track helpers or.
I think everybody at the track has to be wearing a helmet.
No, the flaggers don't wear helmets.
The flaggers?
Yeah, they don't wear helmets. So.
But anyways, yeah. So like we said,
Osborne, Smith was running second. Cantrell was right behind them in third. Peters had a great start, fourth. Osby was running fifth. Ramette and Mosman, whatever they're calling him these days, he was right there. And I don't know if you caught it, but Mosman went down at the end of that
the whoop
rhythm section. Did you see that?
Yes, he went right in front of Jeremy Martin.
Yeah, kind of how he was. It just looked weird too. He just fell.
It looked like he lost the front wheel and just kind of went over the bars. And good reaction on Jeremy Martin for stopping and not really making him cause him more troubles.
Yeah, exactly. Also, we saw Tanner Basso. He made a mistake at the end of the one rhythm section. He didn't crash, but he was done. I think he just called it a night after that. He just had it.
He made the main. That's all he wanted.
He made the main, and he's pretty banged up, so he called it quits. And then another rider went down. We didn't see the crash, but we saw the medical flag on that triple as well, or real close to it. I think it was Alves.
Right after, in the sand section?
Yeah.
Yes, I think you're right. I think it was Alves.
Yeah, I think it was him. It sucks they didn't show it. There was a lot of stuff that happened that, didn't get caught on camera this week.
Yeah, Cunningham went down the same way, but Cunningham braces 450s.
Oh, and one more crash that happened in this race was Michael Mosman. He was he went down at the end of that whoops section.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Yeah.
He went right before Jeremy Martin.
Oh, okay, yeah. Well, no, he actually went down again before that, on the triple. It was if you caught it, it was in the top right corner of the screen, on the first couple laps. Because he was running 7th or something, and then he fell at the end of this rhythm section. I'll have to put it on the Instagram. It was just it was kind of hidden up there. You had to really be looking for it. But yeah, then towards a little bit later, he was just ripping down the whoops and then just lost it and just went over the bars and fell he fell so fast. And that's when, Martin, he's lucky Martin didn't, run his head over.
Well, not only that, and Martin getting caught up again and losing more positions.
Yeah.
That was a hell of a ride for Martin, though. He went all the way from 22nd to 4th place.
Yeah, all the way from last to 4th. He almost got a podium too. He finished right behind Peters.
one more lap, and it would have been a podium for sure.
Oh yeah, and Peters, he passed Cantrell on the last lap or two, and Cantrell was holding that third pretty solid for the whole race. So sucks that he fell too. So that was cool. It was a good race for obviously for Osborne, just leading it start to finish.
Yeah, which is rare for him. He's usually, I think they said something about this is the second time he's ever done that. So actually being able to have a great start and win the race.
Yeah, that's right.
All of his wins have been from him coming back, pretty much. So
they did drop this fact in the in the first heat that Osborne, that was his 13th heat win, and then that made him tied with Savacci for the second most heat wins for an active rider.
Yep.
Behind Davalos, who has 26 wins. That's one of those Monday Night Football stats where they pull up on a Tuesday hitting switch hitting an innings above the 5th against a right-handed pitcher or whatever it is, where they just combine all these stats to make a really rare.
That's not NFL though.
I know. I started NFL and then I switched to baseball because then I remembered baseball.
And then you're scoring 3 goals. What?
Yeah.
Okay, crazy. But yeah, that so yeah, like we said, Zach Osborne won this thing. Jordan Smith.
Not only did Zach Osborne win, he just straight up dominated. It won. He whole shotted, led every lap.
Yeah. Well, Jordan Smith was right behind him. He didn't finish but 2 seconds behind him, so he kept him pretty honest the whole race. Kyle Peters, after going down and winning the LCQ and having a bum knee, he ended up in the podium, 3rd place. Jeremy Martin going through the pack and getting all the way to 4th place. That's amazing. I feel like he would have won the race if he wouldn't have gone down. Mm-hmm. He looked really fast. He looked on point. He was, he looked especially fast. He just looked very fast.
He definitely had the fastest time too out of everyone, a 55.1, and Osborne's best time was a 55.6. So half a second faster.
Sean Cantrell ended up 5th. Osby, they ended up, I mentioned earlier, he ended up 6th, which is awesome. And I want to say that's probably his best finished. Brendan Handcraft, he ended up 7th. Anthony Rodriguez, after a couple of, problems, he ended up 8th. Coming from a boost of confidence last week, he got 5th. Mm-hmm. So definitely good for him. Another top 10. Luke Renslin ended up 9th.
Dude, he was your pick. He was your pick for the podium.
Anthony, yeah.
No, Luke Renslin.
No, I said Anthony, didn't
I think you picked Luke Renzlen. I
I?
think you did, but I'm
Yeah,
not sure.
yeah. Well,
He didn't. Yeah, he had to. He got ninth. Not. I mean, top 10. That's cool, but coming off that third place, we definitely thought he would do a lot better in this race. So
yeah, yeah. Also, Ramet, I thought he was on an injury. He ended up getting 10th place. Jacob Williamson got 11th. Lorenzo Lacourzio 12th. John Short 13th. Nick Gaines all the way to 14th. That's not good for him. Joshua Cartwright in 15th. Wilson Fleming in 16th. Van Martin in 17th. Cody Van Buskirk in 18th. Keith Tucker in 19th. Tanner Basso in 20th place. But like we said, he kind of went down and didn't finish. And then Michael Mossman in 21st and Remelier Alves in 22nd.
yeah, that is correct. So yeah, that was the 250s coming into this race. I mean, well, Osborne extends his points lead on Jordan Smith.
By 15.
That's right. And then Jeremy Martin is in the third place. Austin Faulkner still there in fourth. Luke Renzlen there in fifth. Luke Renzlen, he's got it doesn't look like he's going to be able to pass Faulkner because he is, almost 30 points behind. He's 28 points behind, so he'd have to win. Even if he won, he wouldn't be able to pass. So
for sure, yeah. So I think Austin Faulkner's got that fourth place pretty locked up.
Yep, definitely. So it looks like Osborne is gonna have this championship, but anything can happen in Vegas. But
for sure, yeah. This was the last round for the East Coast on the regular schedule.
Yeah.
The next race will be Vegas, which also will be the showdown with the West Coast. Going into Utah for this West Coast race. It gets interesting, man. As 15 points is not really much. What Renzlen does have to look out for is Kyle Peters because he's only 2 points behind him. So
that's
probably
right.
Get bumped out of that fifth place.
That's right. And actually, I think there is a good chance that could happen. A very good chance. So it's turning out to be a good move by Kyle Peters to just kind of muscle through it. I know he had a great. He was so happy on the press conference, and everybody was really happy for him. So that was really good for him. We got to see that fresh face up there on the podium, especially riding injured. So it was awesome.
That always makes it just a little bit better. It does just that much better to see a guy that went down in the heat, then wins the LCQ, and then bump knee, bad MCL, bad ACL, and still manages to get that third. So
that's right. Is there anything else that you want to add, Claudio?
No, man. Just thank you everyone for listening. Make sure to give us a follow at the MXSX podcast on Instagram. And that's it, man. Thanks for giving me the opportunity to be here, and see you next time.
Peace.